Okay, see, foreign key. Foreign key is also known as referential key. Foreign key is also known as referential key. Understood? Foreign key is also a integrity constraint. Understood? I will explain how it is an integrity constraint. Foreign key is also known as referential key. Understood? See this example. See this example. We have two RDBMS table. We have two RDBMS table. Understood? First is student table and second is enrollment table. Student table and enrollment table. And in the student table, we have three attributes or fields. As we know what is attributes or fields, column names are known as attributes or fields. Student table has three attributes or fields. First is SID, student ID. Second is name, student name. And third is DOB, date of birth. And enrollment table also has three attributes or fields. First is SID, student ID. Second is CID, course ID. And third is fees. Understood? In the student table, we have 5 records. We have 5 records. First record is S1, student ID is S1, student name is A, and date of birth is 1990. Similarly, in the student table, we have 5 records, and in the enrollment table, we have 1 record. Student ID S10, course ID C1, and fees 5,000. Suppose this is the student table of an organization. Within an organization, there is an student table having the name STUD. STUD. Table name is STUD, and here table name is enrolled. Understood? Suppose this is the student, these are the students of an organization. In an organization, these students are there. Understood? And in the enrollment table, we are maintaining the courses enrolled by the student. See here, student S10. Student ID is S10, means student S10 is enrolled for the course C1. Understood? Or the course C1 is enrolled by the student S10. So, enrollment table is maintaining the data, means it is stating that which student is enrolled for which course, or which course are the courses, which course is enrolled by which student. Understood? Enrollment table is maintaining the data, means maintaining the data that which student is enrolled for which course. For example, student S10 is enrolled for the course C1, whose fees is 5,000. Understood? Now the problem is that see here, student S10. Student S10 which is enrolled for the course C1, whose fees is 5,000. Understood? But this student is not in the student table. In the student table, there are 5 students, S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. Whose student IDs are these? But no student is there in the student table whose student ID is S10. Understood? So, this data, see here, student ID, SID is the primary key, and here SID and CID is the candidate key or primary key. Here SID and CID is the primary key, and here SID is the primary key. Understood? In the earlier lecture, we have studied that how it is a primary key and how it is a primary key. Here SID is the primary key, and here CID is the primary key. Understood? But the problem is that here the student S10 which is enrolled for the course C1 whose fees is 5,000, but this student is not does not belong to the organization. See here, S10 is not in the student table. And what is student table? Student table contains the list of the student of an organization, and but this student enrolled for the course C1, but this student does not belong to the student table, means this student does not belong to the organization. Understood? So when this is not a student of the organization, how he can enroll for the course which is running in the organization? So this data, this record is inconsistent. Inconsistent means incorrect. So this record is inconsistent. Inconsistent means incorrect. Incorrect record or incorrect data. Why incorrect record? Because this student which is enrolled for the course C1 which is running in an organization, but this student is not the student of the organization, because this table is maintaining the list of the students which are the student of the organization, but S10 is not in the student table, means S10 is not an student of the organization. So he should not allowed to enroll for the course which is run by the organization. Understood? So this data is inconsistent, means incorrect. So what is the possibilities? What are the solutions of it? We have to impose some constraint are restrictions. We have to maintain some restrictions so that the SIDs which belong to the enrollment table, means SIDs which is enrolled for a course, should always belong to the student table, so that this data will be correct. Understood? Means SIDs will belong to the enrollment table only when these SIDs will belong to the student table. Understood? Means here S10 is not allowed, but S1, S2, S3, S4, S5 are allowed. Means we have to impose some constraints, some restrictions, that only those SIDs should belong to the enrollment table which belong to the student table. Only then this data will be correct. Means only those students can enroll for the course which is running in an organization whose are student of the organization. Means only those SIDs can be stored in the enrollment table. Only those SIDs can be stored in the enrollment table which belongs to the student table. Otherwise the data will be incorrect, inconsistent. Understood? So this constraint or restriction is incorporated by using foreign key. This constraint or restriction is incorporated by using foreign key. See here. See in the example 1. In the example 1, we same table here, student table and enrollment table. In the student table, SID is the primary key, and in the enrollment table, SID and CID together form the primary key. But here, SID is the foreign key. SID is the foreign key, and what are the constraints? That foreign key means here the restriction is that the SID which is stored in the enrollment table should belong to the student table. Understood? Only those SIDs are allowed in the enrollment table which belong to the student table. Understood? So this constraint is incorporated by using foreign key. So SID is the foreign key which is referring to SID of the student table. Understood? See here, student S1 is enrolled for the course C1 whose fees is 5,000 and S1 is belongs to the student table. S1 is referring to the student table. See here, there is a student S1 whose name is A. Understood? S2 also belongs to the student table. S2 also belongs to the student table. Understood? Means this data is correct, this data is correct, this data is correct, this data is correct, but S10, see here, S10 does not belong to the student table. So S10 is not allowed here because of this foreign key. Now S10, this record containing SID S10 is not allowed here because of this foreign key. Why? Because the constraint that only those SIDs can be stored in the enrollment table which belongs to the student table is incorporated by using foreign key. Here foreign key, so here S10 which is enrolled in the enrollment table does not belong to the student table, so this record is not allowed here. This record is not allowed here. Understood? This kind of record insertion is restricted, not allowed. Understood? Now the problem of inconsistent data we were facing here, this is solved by using the foreign key here. By using the foreign key, this inconsistent, incorrect data is not allowed. Understood? And what is consistent data? What is consistent data? Consistent data means only those SIDs will be stored in the enrollment whose belongs to the student table. This is the consistent data. So consistency is allowed by maintaining restrictions. And how we are maintaining restrictions? We are maintaining restrictions by are incorporating by using foreign key. Understood? Now see, these are the two tables. In the two tables we are relating data, this data and this data. These two data are in different table, but these are related with each other. Now in the case of example 2, in the example 2 there is only one table. Here if table name is employee, EMP employee. Here is the EID, employee ID, employee name, and supervisor ID. Means employee ID is the primary key. Here underline candidate key. Below we always underline the candidate key. Understood? The attributes which is underlined, these are candidate key. See here, EID is the primary key. Primary key E1, E2, E3, E4, E5 are the employees of the organization. These are the employees. These are the employee name and these are the supervisor ID. Means this employee is supervised by null. Means no one is supervising E1. And E2 whose employee name is A and supervisor ID is E1. Means employee E2 is being supervised by employee E1. means employee E1 is the supervisor of the employee E2. Employee E2 is the supervisor of the employee E3. See here, see here, supervisors are also employee of the organization. Understood? Supervisors are also employee of the organization. They can't be other than the employee of the organization. Means this supervisor ID should also belong to the employee ID, because supervisors are also employee of the organization. So this supervisor ID should also belong to the employee ID, because employee ID is the ID of the employees of the organization. So supervisor ID should also belong to the employee ID. Understood? So supervisor ID is the foreign key and it refers to the EID, primary key. Supervisor ID is the foreign key, it is referring to the EID, primary key. Understood? This is the foreign key, it is referring to the primary key. But in the same table, here see here, SID is the foreign key, it is referring to the primary key of the other table. Means here foreign key is referring to the primary key of the other table. But here foreign key is referring to the primary key of the same table. Here foreign key is referring to the primary key of the other table. Here foreign key is referring to the primary key of the same table. Understood? So here see, null, E1 supervisor is null, means no one is supervising E1. E1 is supervising E2, E1 is supervising E3, E2 is supervising E4, E10 is supervising E5. But see here, E10 is restricted, not allowed. E10 is restricted, not allowed. It is inconsistent data, incorrect data. Why it is inconsistent data? Because E10 does not belongs to the employment ID. Employee ID. E10 does not belongs to the organization. Means E10 is not an employee of the organization. Understood? Here we have imposed a restriction. We are maintaining a constraint. What is this constraint? It is the constraint that supervisor ID, only those supervisor IDs are allowed here which belongs to the employee ID. Only those supervisor ID are allowed here which belongs to the employee ID. But E10 supervisor ID does not belong to the employee ID. So this E10 is not allowed here. It is restricted, not allowed. And this constraint is incorporated by using foreign key. Understood? But E5 is allowed. E5 is allowed because E5 belongs to the employee ID. So E5 is allowed. Understood? Now see the definition of foreign key. Foreign key is set of attributes references to primary key or alternative key of same relation or other relation. Foreign key is set of attributes. See here, foreign key is SID. Foreign key can be single attribute or more than one attribute. See here, foreign key is SID. Foreign key is supervisor ID. Foreign key is set of attributes references to primary key or alternative key of same relation or other relation. See here foreign key SID is referring to primary key. Here SID is primary key of the other relation. Here foreign key is supervisor ID. It is referring to primary key. EID is primary key of this table. Here foreign key is referring to primary key of the same relation. Here foreign key is referring to primary key of the other relation. Understood? Means foreign key is set of attributes. Here it is a single attribute, but it can be more than one attribute. So in this example it is single attribute. So foreign key is a set of attribute. Foreign key, it is foreign key, it is foreign key. Foreign key is set of attributes. References to primary key or alternative key. References to primary key or alternative key. These are primary keys. These can also be alternative key. Primary key or alternative key of same relation or other relation. See here, of other relation, of same relation, of same relation or other relation. Relation means table. We can say relation or table. Relation means table. Understood? See here, foreign key. Why is the foreign key? It is referring to primary key or alternative key. X is the primary key or alternative key. We always underline the candidate key. So primary key or alternative key is also candidate key. So X is underlined. Foreign key is referring to primary key or alternative key of the same relation or other relation. And foreign key is known as referencing attribute set. This is known as referencing attribute set, and this primary key or alternative key to which foreign key is referring is known as referenced attribute set. And understand this. The primary key or alternative key to which foreign key is referring is known as referenced attribute set, and the foreign key which is referring to primary key or alternative key is known as referencing attribute set, and the table which contain foreign key, that is referencing attribute set, is known as referencing table, and the table which contain primary key or alternative key to which the foreign key is referencing is known as referenced table. See here, what is referencing relation? Relation means table. The table which contain foreign key, this table which contain foreign key is known as referencing table. This table which contain foreign key is known as referencing table. What is referenced table here? Relation, the table which contain primary key or alternative key which referred by foreign key. See here, the table which contain primary key or alternative key which is referred by the primary key is known as referenced table. This is also referenced table. It is referencing and referenced both. It is referenced because this table contains the primary key which is referred by the foreign key. So this is also referenced table. Understood definition. And foreign key field values allowed null values. See here, foreign key field can be null. This is null. Foreign key values, field values. What is field? Name of the column is known as field. This is foreign key field, and foreign key field can be null values and non-null values. E1, E2, E2, E5. These non-null values should refer to the primary key or alternative key of the same table or other table. Understood? And null values are allowed in the foreign key. Understood? And see here, this is the foreign key or referential key used to relate data between tables. Used to relate data between tables. Used to relate data between tables and defined over two tables. Foreign key is defined over two tables. Understood? One is the referenced relation. This is the referenced table, and second is the referencing relation. This is the referencing table. Understood? And see, candidate key, primary key, alternative key, and super key. These are the restrictions of these are within table, local to table, but foreign key constraints of these over to table. Constraints of foreign key are over to table. See here, constraints means restrictions. The restrictions we are applying here, why we are applying restrictions? To maintain consistent data, to maintain correct data. The restrictions we are applying here by using foreign key. Understood? So we are maintaining constraints to maintain consistent data. We are maintaining constraints or restrictions to maintain consistent data, means correct data. Understood? So it is called integrity constraints. Integrity means consistent, correct, accuracy. So it is called integrity constraints. So foreign key or referential key is an integrity constraints. Thank you.